everyone. How are we doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, just trying to get everything set up. So, welcome everyone. We've got a wonderful matchup today. I'm losing track of where everyone is for our two runners, pardon me. So, I'm going to hand this on over to Original Elijah while I try to get everything set up.
All right. Well, we have a good race in store for everyone today. We have Gynophi versus Sir Kilp. This is losers bracket top 12 round here. Best of 3, so
Yeah, first round and then the losers bracket that it starts becoming best of threes.
yeah, so if one of these is your favorite runner and things don't go quite so well for you today, not to worry, there's still plenty of chances for everyone. And it looks like we are
The immediate
starting.
divergent of paths.
Yeah, we're going straight to Angular on Sir Kilp's end here, and Gynophi's just gonna head over to Windfall.
I definitely hate double dipping angular, and this will mean that you cannot full clear unless you get the mirror shield and you do like a lot of dumb stuff. But that'll
Yeah,
lose more time than it's worth.
yeah. I think I probably would have just done what Gynophi did and just go to
Yeah.
Windfall. Um,
Even coming into angular just with the leaf is like kind of iffy because having hookshot just makes it so fast.
yeah, I almost would rather. I mean, I should say not almost, but I definitely would rather have Hookshot than Leaf to do Angular.
Hmm. Leaf just makes a little bit on the inside faster.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were talking about this. We, as in just sort of the community members in general, we're talking about this in one of the other races. I don't think if you have Hookshot and Mirror Shield, Angular is really worth putting off super long.
Yeah,
Um, if even putting it off at all, I would probably rush it.
because like it's way out there either way. It doesn't matter if you sail from Forbidden Forest Haven or Ice Ring. It's just way out there.
Yeah,
You can
true.
potentially save a warp, but like it's 2 checks, and he's gonna be super swimming. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to the 5-star submarine here.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Not really any other places to super swim to way off here in the bottom right corner of the map.
Yep, and those are the sea hats. So it looks like he will be going to the submarine. Hopefully, he makes it.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Little short on air.
It's gonna be close.
Oh,
Oh,
just not
not
quite
quite.
enough speed.
Just barely.
So with failing that, I assume he just goes Windfall here.
Yeah,
Yep.
it looks like we have Wind Temple, Tower of the Gods, and Forsaken Fortress. Is that what I saw there
Yeah, so
today?
2 kind of slower dungeons, but then Forsaken Fortress, so...
Yeah, should help balance it back out a little bit. At least one would hope. And we've got delivery bag and note to mom on Windfall, so getting that mail stuff out of the way pretty quickly. Since we don't have Earth Temple, we only have to worry about the one letter from note to mom, and not the really annoying one.
Just need to see if they opt to just turn it night right away, pretty much. On Windfall, even, potentially. It'll
Yeah,
also make it so that they don't have to do the roll clip into mesas, potentially.
yeah, true. Definitely not a bad idea if you're worried you might lose a little bit of time to roll clipping. Definitely happens to the best of us.
It's just
Oh, hey,
like such
there's
a minor
Hookshot.
thing. It's like, well, it's kind of an excuse to turn it to night, right?
Yeah, yep. So you don't end up trolling yourself trying to save the 5 seconds or whatever it ends up being, like 10 seconds.
The only part that could make a little bit rougher is if you have Ghost Ship at like a weird spot later on.
Yeah, true. That is one thing to think about for sure. I guess another thing to think about with the note to mom here early is it does cost rupees to mail it, and most runners route in the early 20 rupees to get the 20 rupee item, but if you're mailing note to mom, you're not going to have all
it does
20 of those
cost
rupees.
5 rupees.
And if it could even be even more costly if one of our runners, like if Sir Kilp, who hasn't gotten delivered bag yet, decides to mail it at outset, because it's actually more expensive the further away you are from Dragon
That
Roost.
would cost them the big 20.
Yeah, so.
A whole red.
Yep. 1 red rupee.
The other day, I actually soft reset out of a silver rupee in Northern Fairy, and it ended up biting me so much. I'll just drive for so long on rupees.
That's rough. I suppose that's the one thing. Like the one day, I had a similar situation, and I soft reset Northern Fairy as well, and I think it was like a heart container. And normally, I'm not super crazy about heart containers, but then there was a part kind of a little bit earlier where I was down to like a half heart, and I was like, oh man, an extra heart would be really nice right now, because I didn't have soup yet. So
yeah, it's always like, let me take a wild guess. Wind Temple. Wind Temple without fire and ice arrows and skull hammer.
Yeah, that's something I definitely try to avoid. Oh hey, our first piece of the Triforce. Nice. Pretty early.
Now this is going to be a hot take for me. Ready?
Okay.
I like having seeds that don't give me any of the Triforce for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that. As the thing is,
it means that most runners are going to have to full clear, essentially.
Yeah.
Mostly full clear, I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I can see. I definitely can see that. I think the thing about getting too many Triforce shards early is they don't do anything for you. They're not helpful at all. Like, you need to find them eventually, but early on you want to get like leaf bomb, sword, bow, grapple, things like that. Like, if you get a shard, your mentality kind of ends up becoming, okay, well, I didn't waste any time getting this check. Like, no one else is going to be able to skip it. But at the same time, you're kind of like, this doesn't help me at all right now.
It is the worst, though, when you, like, complete, like, the FCP sub or a different sub vanilla. It's just a shard, and you're like, well, could have just leafed over here.
True, I could have came back later with leaf. Yeah, that is definitely... Now here's that roll clip we were talking about.
Yeah, it looked like he actually got the right timing his first try, but his angle was not correct.
Yeah. And, ooh, more mail.
Here it's almost worth it just to change it tonight, in my opinion. Yeah. Then you'll have 2 things in the mail.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because you're definitely getting wallet mail. No matter what, here you're getting wallet mail.
Right. Yeah, and you don't want to talk to the mailbox twice. That's just intentionally wasting time.
Well, I mean, in the mirror shield, so
yeah.
Actually, had angular play.
Yeah, that's really really unfortunate. I'm imagining Gynophi won't put off angular too much longer then. But I've been wrong before.
The only reason I'd want to put off angular here, from like my personal standpoint, would be I'd want a weapon that I can do the rat sub with, and then I can bring that chest storage over to Headstone and full clear Headstone quadrant, because Earth Temple isn't in logic.
Gotcha. So you're also hoping to get something like...
Well, not the Skull Hammer.
Yeah.
Not really for that sub. I mean, it is a fun thing to do.
Yeah, so you're probably also looking then for like bombs with your Skull Hammer or a leaf to be able to do the top of Headstone strat then?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Which is understandable. I mean, you probably also do... you could even do Leafless Horseshoe now, if you're Gynophi. Or even Kilp, they're in the same spot. You could do Leafless Horseshoe into Diamond Step.
Yep.
And get a couple more items.
Super Swim to Islet if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, true. Get a couple more items before you go to Angular, because you're in this part of the map. There's no reason to leave and come back, really, unless you don't want to do like Leafless Horseshoe. I would definitely at least do Diamond Step here.
Yeah, I know you're big on the anti-super swim, but I do think that, like, I generally think that super swimming doesn't save much time at all, really, in rando most of the time. But
Yeah.
that one super swim, because you do it out of logic, and you need like
Yeah.
speed to clip.
I was talking with someone the other day about it, and it seems like if you're able to do that Islet of Steel Super Swim, if you got it really consistent and you don't have to do a lot of pause buffering, it's
Yeah,
probably about like, I think it was almost 20 seconds faster than going to Islet without bombs and just sitting there and waiting for the cannons to blow it up and like sailing there
yeah.
from Great Fish, which is, is not like amazing, but it's definitely not, insignificant 20 seconds.
Because I remember it was timed in like spoiler log days. It was like faster or just as fast to have like a perfect swim than it was like if you're already on outset. It was just as fast to have a perfect swim as it was to warp to Great Fish and sail south with bombs.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm guessing since Diamond Step is a little bit closer and you don't have to charge or swim as long, that's where you get a lot more of the time save.
Um,
Or I'm guessing also most of the
it's
time
just
save also
a
comes
long
from doing it without bombs.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, because
It's RNG based then, so no, we don't like RNG even though we play Randomizer.
yeah, generally that one isn't too bad if you're super worried about the RNG, but from like the enemies, the cannons, but it's still you
It's
could have a bad
consistent
time.
30 for me whenever I do it.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather just like warp to Great Fish and swim. Or you can do the really swag thing that only happens if you spawn at Islet.
Mhm.
You do unbuffered into it.
Oh, there you go. That sounds like the play right there.
We've seen it once in this tournament.
Yeah, I think Islet of Steel is one of those places to where I think if you spawn there, most of the time I'm kind of like,
Gynophi almost jumping off there.
yeah, that was scary. Most of the time I've kind of been of the mind to where, apart from like, I kind of get the 5-star sub a little bit, but most of the other places, if you spawn there and it's like a combat sub, since they're not too bad to get back to, or even like Bomb Island, you're going to have to come back there eventually anyway to do the cave, most likely. A lot
I
of those.
really think that Bomb Island is a good one to get out of the way. If you spawn at Bomb Island.
Yeah, I just almost think I don't think it really matters a whole lot. Just because, like I said, you're probably going to come back to Bomb Island anyway. And
Yeah,
if you can
like,
do the sub a lot faster and not get trolled by the enemies breaking the pots on you.
it's slightly slower to do it with without a sword or anything, but like at the same time there's been those seeds where you have to come back there without like a good item for the cave as well, and then you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean that's the risk you run, I suppose. I think that's pretty unlikely just because most of the time you don't get too many really empty sphere zeros with these seeds.
Yeah.
At least I think so. I think it's relatively safe if you want to do it that way, but in general, Islet of Steel I feel like is the biggest exception to if you spawn there, just do the whatever's there. Mostly just because you like, even if you get bombs, which is like the only real way to speed it up, you're not saving the extra warp with bombs, so you would just be losing time to come back there later with bombs. We are seeing that super swim here on Gynophi's side, so hey, look
Really
at that.
clean, right in.
Yep, easy peasy. Let's see if it's worth it. We're also seeing nothing on golf today, unless you really like treasure chest. Oh. Heart piece, not bad.
Do you know what'd be wild?
What?
Is if we saw bombs go mode.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen that one. Yeah, I don't
They
know
are
that I've
hard
seen that.
required for our big Godin, who is ahead today.
True.
And every day, actually.
Fun fact. But yeah, I could see, yeah, I could see it. I could be down to see that, definitely. It would be interesting. And we are seeing the angular play on Gynophi's side, so very interesting. And
It's brought up in the chat. Is he actually ahead if we're on ZSR2 and not ZSR main?
oh, true. That is a question I cannot answer, fortunately.
Never know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Could be. Could be. I'm really curious about what's inside the angular cave. I'm kind of losing my focus a little bit. Oh, wow.
Gynophi just missing the shark.
Oh, that shark always freaks me out. Like, yeah. So did Diamond Step? I think I missed on Gynophi, but I see he has the Iron Boots. Is that the other check in Diamond Step? Ooh, Kilp falling again.
See, you say
Probably,
that
maybe?
like I always pay attention to the items that they get and not just their gameplay.
True. There's also Boomerang that Gynophi has, so maybe that's... Alright, according to chat, it is the Iron Boots, so...
So it should be right here.
Yeah. Hey, good
we knew,
memory,
we
chat.
knew it all wrong. We knew it all along.
So the interesting thing about this, I know a lot of people, you know, when you think about the Diamond Step early play, this is one of those Diamond Steps that's like, yeah, it's loaded, but like, not with anything like useful for the sake of clearing more checks. Like, double magic, sure, that's definitely something you like to have, and Iron Boots are required for this seed, but they're kind of things that don't, they're kind of like the shards we were talking before, right? They don't help you in the short term here, like at all. We're seeing this super swim again here, so that's... And the Bokubaba seed makes a reappearance.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of swims. It's almost like I'm watching like Gob or somebody play. Oh, it could have potentially been saved, but Sir Kilp probably didn't want to pause buffer and risk it.
Yeah.
He was just off of it.
Going to... Are we just going to do the warp strat to... Oh, no, we're just going to Forest Haven. We'll come back to Islet of Steel later on Kilp's side, apparently. It looks like we have both runners going for the 5-star sub play. Kilp
So
looking like he hopes to save Scummit.
Yeah, it's always like kind of scary when you go here, especially when you go to any location that you like fail a swim to and you could have had it earlier. It's like, oh, how much is it gonna hurt that I missed this swim earlier? You know?
True. Yeah.
Or is it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, that's why I try and avoid those mentalities, and that's why I don't normally I just don't do the swims.
Mm-hmm. I found a couple like good swims that's like there's one really decent one that I found just messing with like different swims with it's a double storage super swim from you store the cabana top of waterfall and you bring it to headstone.
Okay.
But since you have chest storage, you get free air refills on reefs, so you can just get the air refill on 2i.
Nice. Sounds fun. Yeah, I just get to the point to where I'm like, I feel like what I do the best whenever I avoid things that are going to upset me if it doesn't go my way. And So I'm just like, I know I can pretty much warp and sail somewhere 100% of the time and not mess it up. So I'm just gonna do that.
You know, you say that until you start missing the sail put away on sail jumps, and you just jump without a sail pump, and you're just like, oh, we're just not going anywhere on this one.
Yeah, but then at the same time, how much time am I really losing for
True.
like the 1 out of 10 sail jumps that I don't hit? And that's probably being generous. We get to
It's
see the
much
clip.
worse if you've ever tried sail jumping without the swift sail.
Ooh.
You really just feel suspended in midair.
I could see it. I haven't played the like vanilla or without swift sail, and it feels like 100 years.
Gynophi.
It's very narrow pathways here. You got to be extra careful. I do like the cliff plateau play here from both the runners. I think I pretty much anytime, right as soon as I get a sword or a hammer or something.
Yeah, as soon as you get that jump slash item, you know it's go time.
Yep, it's time for.
And there's like rare occasions where if you can like full clear other stuff and you can hope for power bracelets or bombs to go to bomb as well.
Right.
That maybe, but like normally this is a very good option always.
Yeah, true. I do agree with that. If you have other places you can full clear before this, it definitely doesn't hurt to go there.
Also, it's worth knowing like full clear optimally too. Like you wouldn't want to even if you could full clear all of Crescent and Poprint, I'd do this before if it meant that I could possibly skip the Crescent Leaf. Or the Crescent Snub, but yeah, with Leaf.
Or Fire Ice, or
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point in chat too. They're storing chests. We're too busy talking about what they're doing and what we like to do to even think about what potential items we could be even seeing. But hey, it could be something, Maybe we got Leaf. We don't know. I wasn't paying enough attention. Or bows. Could be bows. Oh, there's a sword on Gynophi's side, so one of them was a sword. Looks like the upper one, since Kilp doesn't have it.
So I think what happened there with Gynophi is he was partially clipped in, and he was just trying to get the frame 1 jump slash.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Unless if he was just mashing A and B, that you can also get a frame 1 like sword slash, but I think you just fall then.
Oh, like the midair or one? Or
no, if you like press B on the first frame, it'll read it as like you being on the ground. So it'll do like the start of a sword slash, but then it'll cancel it because you're in midair the next frame.
Gotcha. So yeah, and Gold Quiver pointing out in chat, and we're seeing it on Kilp's screen. They did store the ghost ship chart. Doesn't look like Gynophi noticed that, so hopefully it doesn't take him too long to realize. We've seen that burn people in this tournament before.
That's actually going to be huge for Kilp if Gynophi doesn't realize it. Just because Gynophi's already made it he's already made it first night. It's second day right now, and he's already done Diamond Step, so he can't get it optimally at Diamond Step. Yeah. And the next place is Bomb, so he could have just gotten it at Bomb. That'd be such a hard decision to do it then, though.
Yeah, I think Gynophi was thinking about going to Bomb Island there, but looks like decided to just warp to Dragon. Having Boomerang, I guess, makes that not bad.
I also think that the Super Swim 2, the Ghost Ship, is a relatively easy one, just because no matter where it is, you just have to hit the Ghost Ship.
Right, it's got a pretty sizable hitbox, for lack of a better term. I guess that's what that would be called anyway. We're going to paw print on Kilp's side, it looks like. Or no, we're going to do Crescent first? Probably for Ghost Ship? I'm thinking yes. Which I think makes sense. Because
we'll just hope for those ground spawns, because hookshot is fun.
Yeah, or at least that you catch it fast enough to avoid it spawning in anything.
Yeah, and if it does spawn in something, let's hope for a redead, not a Stalfos.
True. Definitely would make me nervous.
It could get spicy real quick in here.
Or hope for the extra luck and that crescent chest just has leaf. Well, we tried.
Honestly, what do you do if it spawns a Stealthos? Do you just save warp at that point?
Probably. I don't think that's that bad of a call.
Especially if it's like
have you-
right as you get in. If you like kill out stuff first, then maybe. But
Yeah,
Here we
if
go.
you had bombs, I think it's fine. But
it takes, what is it, 12 hits? Gets the ground spawn. I think that counts
the
as
hook
what,
shot.
4
That's not
hits?
bad.
Yeah, so
I think you can jump
6?
slash it from that spot.
7. I think this one might be weird with like the height. I'm not sure. I think you might be able to, but at the same time, if you aren't able to and you go for it,
Yeah, that could hurt. Could get burned pretty bad there. But that all in all going pretty well, I think, for Kilp.
yeah, I didn't realize that he just killed it.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to come back, but no, it's just dead. That went really well for him.
All right. And Claire confirming in chat that you can hit it with the mid spawn, so that's good to know. Well, a ghost ship is required now, so hopefully Gynophi at least will eventually check to see if he has ghost ship, because, like I said, I commentated a race the other day where that was unfortunately somebody stored a ghost ship chart and never realized it, and it had hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Well, was Wind Temple required?
I don't remember, and
Because it wouldn't be
I know
worth
that
it as long as there's no Wind Temple.
I mean, okay.
It would still be pretty slow though.
Yeah, I don't think the runner that it happened to was one that does more or any hook. So.
See, now we have the runners holding hands, almost at like the same exact spot in the game.
True.
Like
yeah.
where their character is.
Right down to the.
Just hanging on to the ladder.
Yeah. It's a comfortable ladder. Runners spend a lot of time on that ladder. I think after the last rando update, they had to install a pillow on there, you know, some cushioning, just to make it a little more relaxing, since we're just chilling up there so much. Bottle. Okay. Okay. Soup is good. People like it. I dig it.
I assume both of our runners have already checked Mother and Child.
Looks like it, because I think it had Furor's Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
And according to our wonderful trackers today, they both have that. I think I like Kilp's play, and obviously Gynophi did it too, going to Crescent before Paw Print. Especially in this situation where you don't have bombs or power bracelets or leaf yet, or grapple.
Yep.
So there's a lot more you can get. I think if you have like one of those things, so that way you can get 3 of the checks of Paw Print, I think it matters a little bit less.
Yeah,
doing,
or leave.
Yeah.
Doing the like re-go in.
Yeah, I think then it matters a little bit less. But if you don't have, like, because right now you can only do half of Paw Print, in theory, so it makes a lot more sense to go to Crescent first. And then, at least to the degree that I would almost say it's actually better, like, objectively better to go to Crescent first. If you have bombs and just don't have grapple, or, you know, something like that, or power bracelets and just don't have grapple, then I think you could make a case for either one, because we'd be willing to bet it's definitely slower to go to Crescent first, but yeah. If you have more items for Paw Print, it makes it less good to put it off, I feel like.
Hmm. I know early on in Season 4 there were talks of doing like the Death Warp strat where you store the second chest.
Yeah. I don't think
But,
that's like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think it's only like okay if you only have grapple.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good, and I think that's probably, and I've even done it before in races where that was the case. Although even in this seed, even if our runners had grapple, they have 5 hearts right now. Like on Gynophi's
Yeah,
side,
that's true.
that's rough. And I mean, you could still at that point you're hoping to get pretty lucky with it. I guess you're hoping to get like Leaf or something there.
And even with
Something
5
really good.
hearts, it becomes really scary to for it to be a heart piece.
Oh yeah, because then you're
Because
just
they're green shoes in there, so after every hit that they do to you, they go back down.
yeah. Honestly, at that point, if you get a heart piece from it there, do you just soft reset back and then
Honestly,
like just check the other chest?
I think it might be worth it just to save scum the second chest if you plan on doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, yeah, save first and then check it and then soft reset and then you can just
because if it's something, then you can just go on along the lines of if it's something, just get out of pop print. If it's nothing, then you can get the third chest and then save warp.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's probably a lot more viable. And what are we at? Is this a 6-eye sub on Gynophi's side? I'm so busy talking, I keep
Yeah, they're pretty much just holding hands out here.
Hey, you got the stick drop. It's always good. It's always good to get it in like one try.
It's always the worst to do this without a weapon at all.
Oh yeah, I pretty much avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, I do too. It's kind of like
Nice.
Vanilla Leaf.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'll do before I check for a vanilla leaf. Like a lot. I suppose unless there's like no DRC in Logic, and you've literally only gotten grapple hook and you've checked every other sphere 0.
Yeah,
And
I've started doing. The one thing that I have started doing a lot more is even if Forbidden Woods is in Logic, I'll do the Forest Haven checks with the like enter it through the Cyclone strat because that's actually like really fast.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point too to where it's like if I don't have swords or like the boomerang or anything or like a bow or anything, but I have like the grapple and the leaf, so it says, "Oh yeah, you can go into Forbidden Woods." It's like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that, but I will check the Forest Haven checks if I get down to that like bad of a situation.
Yeah, it's like the same situation as Diamond Step Early where like you don't really want to do it, but they are just a one trip no matter what.
Yeah. So if you're avoiding the double dip, I think you can't be too upset. If you're doing a check at max speed, even if you have to warp back later eventually to do Forbidden Woods, or even if you end up wanting to do it that way, I don't think that's that bad, just because you end up warping to Forest Haven a lot of times anyways. You could always warp back there and do it with or not always, but most of the time you'll be able to warp back there and do it with something else, so it's not even really an extra warp, It's also not too often you get to see the big Octo at Cabana in these, or at least its Whirlpool in these settings.
Oh, I make that sale all the time. I have to avoid that one. Luckily, with how much we had Big Octo's Whirlpools relevant in Season 3 with Diamond Step Early, got really used to just being right next to it.
Yeah. Have another Pearl today. Those are required.
Does that Octo void you to the Cabana Island? Maybe.
Well,
Probably.
time to bust out the practice file. Somebody go and confirm for us. So we're kind of just continuing with the hand holding here as we're heading over to Bomb Island. So I guess to recap, right, we have Kilp has done the the ghost ship over Gynophi, and Gynophi's done the angular cave. I think everything else is the same.
Sir Kilp hasn't done Isle of Steel, I don't think.
Okay, Isle of Steel 2 then. So pretty even, honestly, all things considered.
Nobody doing combos.
Ooh.
I love bombs on Bomb Island sub. See, this is why if you spawn at Bomb Island, you do the sub.
This is why you.
So that'll also be male. Yeah, both runners going right to Bomb Island. I couldn't imagine doing anything other than just going right in.
Yeah, I mean, you have everything you need to do
getting
it.
male, yeah. Because you even have hookshot.
Kilp doesn't want to check mail yet.
Kilp! The male! It could have a sword! You could just slash the Megtails. You wouldn't even have to do a jump slash. Oh, Gynophi taking a little bath.
Bath, not bad.
I really do like using a bomb and just dropping the bomb for the Megtail on the first one.
Yeah, I think the first one is it times pretty well with like that spot kind of where Kilp put it.
It's definitely faster on the next two to use bombs and like hit them both at the same time essentially, but it's like really hard to do that optimally, and it's RNG based on Megtail's movements.
True, because they're, in my experience, the Magtails don't like you, and they're just gonna always go into the lava. So once the bomb blows up, they're just like later. Ooh. Oh, you definitely don't want to see the parries when you're trying to do this island.
Definitely want to save the parries for Bomb Island. Looks similar, but...
Or Fire Mountain.
Oh yeah, Fire Mountain, yeah. That one.
Okay. But yeah, the parries are very helpful in there. Oh man, shards everywhere. This is the part where when you start seeing this many shards like this, like what we were talking about before, where you normally want them to be later, you start to kind of tell yourself, well, you know, maybe the swords will help balance it out. And they'll be in late positions.
The only thing that's like
at the end of each dungeon, please.
The only thing that's going to be a bit rough is their mental both might be a bit off now because they both had not the greatest Bomb Islands.
Yeah.
It's always the worst to just like be like, oh, I just lost X amount of time there. Now they're caught up to me and
oh, this is why Kilp didn't check the mail yet. I don't agree with it, but
finally checking his ghost ship chart. Knowing he has the ghost ship chart now.
That's good. That's good. We don't have to worry about any sort of forgotten charts.
Yeah, this does make sense to save the mail. Well, I feel like even then, with instant text, it's like 3 text boxes of instant text.
Yeah, I think it's better to check the mail at Bomb Island.
Yeah.
Personally, just because I'm a fan of just the thing, like you said, it could be a sword, it could be a bow, you know, I mean, any of those things, you could get leaf. None of those help a ton in Bomb Island, but they do help.
Oh, hear me out on this one though. Ready for this one?
Okay.
What if it was the grappling hook, and then you can take the platform chest to do deed skip?
I think that's solid. I think that's a very viable play. I would probably do that.
Because you're right there, right? Like, it saves a warp. So even if it's kind of slow, like, I think that one's... It's kill the enemies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's only two bokoblins.
But you don't even have to do, like, weird text storage stuff because you have bombs, so you can just do bomb push.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very good... That would be a very good play in that situation. Just because... The thing with Cabana, right, is at that point, the only thing you'd be missing to unlock it completely would be the deed. And the deed could literally just be in one of those Sphere 1, Sphere 0 checks you haven't gotten to yet, right? I mean,
Let me tell you, if PK was playing the seed, he'd lose. PK Slam just lost the seed.
oh man. Would PK Slam do Leafless Wind Temple before saving ground? So yeah, now actually, Gynophi knowing they have Ghost Ship chart and getting Leaf first is potentially going to be able to actually save him time on a Ghost Ship over Kilp, being able to skip it completely.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna
Especially
see.
with it just being a piece of cheese. He'll have to get it, but doesn't matter
Yeah.
when.
Yeah, true.
A little scary though, going into Forsaken Fortress right now.
I like this play just because I think ideally you'd have a Master Sword, but 40% of the time Phantom Ganon is a dungeon item, and of the dungeons to double dip back into, if you end up needing to do Phantom Ganon, this is probably like one of the best. Like the slow part of Phantom Ganon is actually fighting Phantom Ganon and not the sailing into the island and rolling up to where Phantom Ganon is. Ooh, there's a bow.
It really is just wild to like compare how we do stuff this season to season 3 stuff. Just because like if you did window jump in season 3, you were wild.
Yeah.
That was a wild strat.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything in season 3 was Mother and Child Super Swim for FF. That was that was the only thing. If you weren't Mother and Child Super Swimming to FF, you were a crazy person. Ooh, power bracelets are here too. Not the best thing to find when you already have bombs, since there's no Earth Temple today, but hey, if we get Bait Bag too, then that could be some...
This is long forgotten in season 3. The fact that we had to kill Stalfos with bombs, boomerang, and Skullhammer, even if we had light arrows.
Oh, the dark times. So if you're Sir Kilp right now, you're really hoping that you open this chest and it's... Obviously, the best case is you get, like, your fire ice arrows or your grappling hook or something, but you just are really hoping for not the compass, right? That's all you want. That's all you want out of it. Just not the compass. Hey, not the compass. And I guess to answer Scythial _'s question, I think the Mother Child Super Swim in these settings is like completely dead just because the Mother and Child chest is available in Logic so early.
Yeah, I only think it would be good if you got like really early hammer and
like,
no leaf.
Yeah, hammer and bombs on Windfall maybe, and then you're like, oh well, now most of FF is in Logic, so if I could do this Super Swim real quick, I can
Even then,
get the
you'd want
boss
like
out of the way.
hammer and hook shot, so you can get the other stuff logically.
Yeah, because even if done like perfectly optimally, because I think Jarhead timed it, and the Mother and Child Super Swim, if assuming you get the 40% chance of getting to skip Phantom Ganon, is only like 8 seconds faster.
Well, isn't that also assuming that you wouldn't be warping to Mother and Child anyways?
Right, yeah, that was, or I think that was with the warp, because I think he did those timings once the warp came in to play.
No, like even with the warp, yeah, the warp.
Oh, the Forsaken.
So, like,
oh, yeah.
You're gonna need the Mother and Child's chest, is what I mean.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So you're still saving a warp essentially.
Yeah, so yeah, you would have to then at that point, in order for it to be faster, you'd have to kind of gamble the Mother and Child chest completely if you weren't doing the Super Swim.
Yeah, but especially like without Leaf though in Forsaken Fortress, because it's like sometimes I'm just panicking like, what chest do I want to take? Can I take any chest to Forsaken Fortress if I don't have Mother and Child chest?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, apparently Kilp stored or got command melody somewhere that none of us saw, because we're going to Wind Temple now. So yeah, this should be interesting.
Oh.
I kind of after that one
Gynophi's in for a wild ride.
After that one qualifier, I told myself I'm never going to Wind Temple again with Hero Sword and no bow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride here.
Yeah, so
Gonna really hope for that bow or a sword or both.
yeah, I mean, I guess Gynophi has soup, so I mean, but man, even just not even the whiz robes, just the big key chest, is the 3 dark nuts. It just kind of sucks.
Looks like the bird should be in a good spot for Kilp. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess the tough thing about it, so the thing about the Wind Temple, right, is it does not logically require bow in any way. Like, it's, according to the logic, you could eventually end up having all 3 bows be locked behind this dungeon, but it's so unlikely when you consider there's 3 potential bow upgrades you could get out there. And
yeah, looking at it even more, it's like, did he just look at his tracker possibly and see that like his only locations were here essentially?
Yeah.
Well,
and
other than Forsaken Fortress, because he can clear everything in Forsaken Fortress except for Phantom Ganon, but
yeah, this could be pretty big then, honestly. I mean, we already have seen from our end that Forsaken Fortress is pretty good today. Oh, there's a shard there, though. I mean, that's our last shard. So, but it's in the first chest, so
yeah,
that's not really that good.
It is. It's good and bad, right? Like, it means that you came to the right dungeon if the other dungeons go mode.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't the grappling hook just have to be here actually, or arrow mail?
I mean,
or in Tower of the Gods after getting a pearl here. But like, don't you actually have to come to here pretty soon here?
Well, I mean, grapple could be in Hyrule in this seed, couldn't it?
Depends. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if there's like a, if there's a pearl in Cabana, then, but we'll know, we'll have grapple before we know about that. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, you have to get something is in this dungeon or on the arrow mail or Cyclos, I suppose. Kilp is checking that now. This is interesting. Hopefully there's some stuff in both of these paths. I think it's more interesting when neither path is like completely wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if Cyclos gives Naru's Pearl, then this can get really interesting on routing.
Definitely. I would like to see something like that.
Because personally, I'd definitely go to Tower of the Gods before Wind Temple.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think, although admittedly, I think neither is like a bad play.
Yeah.
Because you have to find a small key in both of them anyway, and with Wind Temple, you can skip more potentially with a go mode than in Tower of the Gods, but also in Tower of the Gods, the small key is guaranteed to be super early, or at least one of them. So there's benefits to both. Like going Wind Temple earlier could be a lot better if the small keys are in really like just terrible spots, because everyone's going to have to search through it to find those small keys in bad spots. Whereas in Tower of the Gods, there's just 1,000 cutscenes, and even skipping all the checks that you can skip in there doesn't really help you that much. I'm wondering if we're going to see Gynophi do the skip the Wind Gods Aria route. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, so Sir Kelp picking up the bait bag from the Cyclos. Going to be heading over to Outset to grab the pears and the big pig.
The all-purpose bait with the pear. So I think if you're Kilp right now, what the play is, you dig up the black soil, then you go to Headstone and you check both of those.
Yep, definitely. Or do you do Golf? Do you save Scum Golf?
I think Kilp actually...
Diamond stuff, yeah.
I think Kilp already did Golf, actually. But that's definitely a play. Because that's one of the things, too. That's why I think the save... Especially when you're in this situation where, let's assume... Because I'm not 100% he might not have done Golf. But assuming he hasn't done golf, then you're in this interesting position, right, where you're if you're one of the people like me that always save warps after the pig, there's your safety save already, right? And so then you can just go do golf, and if it's nothing, soft reset, and then go to headstone.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten a lot better at this swim to the headstone sub because it's really fast and you can like really undercharge it. I normally go with like less than 1,000 units of speed probably.
Gotcha. So you mean you don't go over 9,000?
No. It's also worth noting that like if you need to swim a long ways, then you can get a really easy air refill here from the same spot that MSS gets air refills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've used that spot before. Back when I tried to do super swims. That P hat right there is exactly why I don't do that leafing across that way strat, because it knocks me down and then I cry.
I do normally try to leaf attack with that one.
Yeah, that definitely will help increase your chances. But I got to the point now to where I just go with the 100% never get trolled by the P-hat strat, where I just use the warp pot to bring my car back.
Ah, yes.
And I think we are seeing Wind God's Aria skip because we don't have Makar. Cool strat. It's always good to know those gigantic stones that troubled you so much as a kid are completely skippable and useless.
Look, even though we only have the hero sword, we better not die.
Yeah. Even though we have the hero sword, soup, and 8 hearts. 7 hearts, sorry. There's so many, it's hard to count. But, yeah.
Well, we normally don't count that high with hearts in Wind Waker Randomizer.
True. Honestly, I was just throwing a number out there that looked kind of correct, and then once I said it, I was like, I should actually count, because I don't want people to tell me, actually, you're wrong, it's this many. The heart total is actually very, very... The difference in heart total is very shocking.
Gynophi, you don't need to look at your item screen. Store a small key.
Oh, man. Alright, we got all the armor off of all the darkness, so that's good.
Got him in the stun lock. Oh, the quick spin. Got the other one in the stun lock.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, but his friend came to rescue him?
Yeah,
oh, but he killed him? I stopped you from the stun... I rescued you from the stun lock, but at what cost? We're heading to Dragon Roost Island, so I'm guessing it's a flight control sub-play here. I guess this isn't the bad part if you have 7 hearts. It's just the whiz ropes then. Don't worry though, one day the seed will come where you'll get the opportunity to go into Wind Temple with just hookshot and leaf and no sword at all. And you just have to skull hammer.
Or you can have the skull hammer. Yeah, the skull hammer.
You just skull hammer all of them, but you know, have fun getting the armor off the dark nets with the skull hammer. I guess this is interesting to point out. Kilp going to get to save a little bit of time over Gynophi here just from having the leaf to get this check. Not a huge time save, but definitely not an insignificant one either.
I have no clue how much time it saves. But it is just faster.
Yeah, I'm guessing especially it's obviously not as good now with the Wind Waker dive strat that everybody does, but
yeah.
I think it's probably about like, from what we've talked about before, it seems like it's about like 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, Gynophi is also gonna have a fun time in here. Because Hero Sword does not have the exact same range as the Master Sword, so he's not going to get that quick spin.
Yeah, you can do the same like general strategy. You just have to, it's just the timings and it's a little bit more precise.
Yeah.
But hey, all in all, not bad, I suppose, there.
It's also worth knowing that if you fail quick spins, then that gets really annoying because it does take 2 hits with the hero's sword, or 1 quick spin.
I think that there is a bow in Wind Temple, so there you go. That's very convenient for Gynophi. And I think
Yes,
the
it is.
Master Chamber.
That bow
Yeah.
is also a huge sigh of relief for
Yeah.
the mini boss if he has to do the mini boss.
True, and that's pretty late in Wind Temple too, so that means that it's not going to get burned by like a basically empty Wind Temple.
Mhm.
If the shard was the only thing in here, so that's very reassuring for that reason too. And I think, and I'm not 100% on this to answer Claire's question about the Master Sword Chamber, but I'm thinking it has something to do with how the hammer actually doesn't like work when they have the capes on for the Dark Knights in the Master Sword Chamber. There's something with that, I believe, and that's why it's no longer part of the randomizer's logic to do that particular chamber with just Skullhammer.
Or they just said it was too annoying.
That's also true. I know. I am pretty sure Lago has done things like that in the past, where it's like this is just too.
Yeah, I think there's like some. I'm trying to think.
I think maybe flight control is a pretty good example. I mean, technically, you shouldn't need a sword if you have hookshot, but the logic requires that you,
Right.
if you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like because all the other enemies you can't kill the chews or the Niblins with the hookshot, so it's like it should technically be possible to do it. So, but also the randomizer is supposed to be fun and only a little bit torturous.
Yeah, because I'm almost certain you can take out Mighty Dark Nuts with the hammer slash attack. Not the hammer's quick spin, as some people say. The hammer does not have a quick spin; it is a slash attack.
I always like to call them, or not call it, but I always like the hammer slash attack because it feels like I'm swinging a baseball bat, and whenever I hit an enemy and it goes flying, it feels like it's a home run. Like later.
It is really satisfying on the Stalfos.
Oh yeah, when you hit their heads, it's awesome. I like the Maniblins too. That's fun. Also, I know at one point we had them basically down to like one check each that was different, but now it's like I don't even know anymore. Like too much has happened.
Just
That was a nice save. That was making me nervous. I was feeling the anxiety.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I just killed it.
Yeah.
Will you get the jump spin?
Right.
Got it. The double hit.
That was clean.
I think it's technically better to use bow there just because you can get it in a stun lock essentially, but
yeah,
it's definitely fine, especially with the Dark Nuts still being able to be hit.
Yeah, true. As long as the Dark Nut is alive, you don't have to feel too pressured on the mini boss because it won't spawn anything else until the Dark Nut dies. All in all, not a bad mini boss, all things considered. Ooh, dang, the cutscene interrupting our shot.
Mr. Kilp heading back for Bomb Island.
Yeah. At least gonna get to be a little happy that, excuse me. Ooh, Wind Temple has a sword too.
Yeah, so that's
Pretty
deep in Wind Temple, so.
Yeah. So. Now, I guess one thing to note is that doesn't necessarily even mean that going to Wind Temple first was like the better play. It just means that you're not losing time to somebody else getting to skip and go mode the dungeon.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily imply any sort of like lead per se. But it's definitely reassuring for like your mental state as a runner. You're like, okay, now worst case scenario is the only check somebody's skipping over me in this dungeon is the kill all the enemies in the basement, which is it's only one check, so yeah, definitely feels better. Although you still have to do this with just.
Did we not get a dungeon item possibly?
Maybe. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Because it looks like he's just going through it.
Well, I hope that's the case. Because getting to skip this check is really nice. And I'm guessing it was, so.
That or he's just leaving.
Yeah, I mean,
Making
it
a
would
big
be the
old
first time
gamba.
we've seen it. Although, honestly, I feel like knowing that... I feel like that if it's just a gamble, it makes more sense to just gamble it if the rest of Wind Temple was empty. But with the rest of
Yeah.
Wind Temple being loaded, it's kind of like, or not necessarily like loaded might not be the best term, but having a bunch of good stuff in there, being not empty, it's kind of like, you might as well, because you haven't lost any time coming into Wind Temple, other than any sort of execution mistakes you feel you've made. I'm almost certain it has to be a dungeon map or compass. I guess now what the biggest question is, where is Nehru's Pearl, right? I mean, that's what's locking the most of the remainder of the seed. Kilp heading to the angular cave check now. I don't remember what that was. Was it Wind God Zarya? That sounds right. Boomerang on Mulgara though, that's pretty cool. I dig that.
I still don't think that Boomerang on Malgara actually saves time if you have to equip it. I'm not a believer.
Oh.
It's only tragic that in HD, the boomerang like doesn't work the same. It's like you have to double tap essentially for the boomerang to actually throw when it's in your hand still. Otherwise, it would be faster in HD because equipping doesn't take time at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the part where if you do it on the last one, you have the boomerang in your hand, so you can't just mash jump slash for... Well, you can mash roll, but then you get the animation of putting away your item and that.
Yeah, I think the boomerang is more just like kind of a meme for Mulgara, and ultimately I feel like the time difference between the two is so tiny either way that it's almost never going to make an actual difference. Are we seeing the Sir Kilp Wind Temple play now after getting Wind God Zarya? Nope. We're going to be risking the fabled paw print triple dip. Spicy.
Not the paw print dip, triple dip.
It's scary.
Well, we're not because Grapple's in there. I read the spoiler
That would be
log.
okay. That would be good. I'd be happy. Then it's not. Then we're good. Saved. Fire Ice checks we haven't seen. We haven't seen the inside of Cabana yet either, and the Forest Haven checks. And obviously Tower of the Gods.
Oh!
Speaking of Tower of the Gods.
Might be a little spicy here and head over to Tower of the Gods before Wind Temple.
True. We have, what, 1 bow and 2 swords still that we haven't seen, so... one of those could be in Tower of the Gods.
That almost means that Grapple is just in Tower of the Gods.
True.
But Sir Kilp heading to Wind Temple since he's already here.
Well, then... So, what that's basically going to mean is it's going to come down to Overworld versus Tower of the Gods for both of the runners, then.
Yeah, we should have a fairly good estimate on like who's ahead after Gynophi finishes Tower of the Gods, or finishes FF and does some of the overworld.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting. We'll also get a little bit of information here about Phantom Ganon. Well, I guess no, we know it's a dungeon item, don't we? Because Kilp got to skip it. So, unfortunate for Gynophi in that regard. I think what it comes down to before doing like the Fire and Ice checks before Tower of the Gods for either runner is how many Gomo items do you need before you enter Tower of the Gods, and is it worth? Can you get Go mode before you go into Tower of the Gods, or not? And that'll be the biggest difference. Although I do intend to agree with a dungeon like Tower of the Gods, it's better to do the dungeon when you're down to just like 4 or 5 overworld checks. If you only need like 2 items, just because you have to run through all of Tower of the Gods anyway, right? You don't necessarily even know you have to visit any of those Fire Ice Islands.
Yeah, I assume that we'll see overworld cleared before going into Tower of the Gods.
Some of those Tower of the Gods checks too are ones that you're just gonna like have to get no matter what anyway too. Like the stone tablet and the big key chest, you don't get to skip those.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going for trying to be able to get luckier and skip as many checks as possible, I would, or save as much time by skipping checks as possible, I would guess it's better to do Tower of the Gods and get to skip all the Fire Ice checks.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's Tower of the Gods, or usually the overworld is just more likely in general to have items. So
You'll also save a warp, assuming full clear.
true, yeah, you won't have to warp back to Tower of the Gods to enter Hyrule.
But really, it just comes down to, does Fire Mountain have something? Because that's normally what everybody's last Fire and Ice check is. Unless if you like come out of DRC, then you just do it.
Yeah, do it pretty early. Yeah, I mean, Fire Mountain is a pretty big time sink. Ooh.
I haven't seen that setup from Gynophi ever.
Yeah. I don't think that's on top of the jail cell, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
It's almost certainly like in the middle of the arena.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure, did he actually get a... Yeah,
almost dead center. Okay. Not unrecoverable, though.
Yeah, I found that like most of the time, even if you fall all the way down, as long as you can get... Oh, he might be behind. Okay, he jumps. Big flap. Get the boomerang out. Get the boomerang out. If you throw a boomerang at his head while he's mid-flap attack like that, he'll instantly stop it.
He's kind of locked in the...
Ooh, Bird has left us once.
Yeah. Alright, Bird, come back. Come
Turn
back.
on his audio for me. Will we hear a bonk?
There's the Bird.
Oh,
that's not...
That should work. That should be fine. Yeah.
Just gotta walk a little bit, but hey.
As long as he doesn't have to walk right over the table, you're good.
Oh, the table that leads into the abyss?
Yeah.
That's... The first time I saw that happen to someone, I was like... Since it wasn't me, I was like, that's so funny. It kind of feels like the bird kind of like... If you mess up the setup and you end up with the bird in a bad spot and it flies away once, the bird a lot of times feels like it kind of goes, I'll give you one more try, and comes back down like one time. But, not always, but it kind of feels like the bird tries to help a little. Oh boy, the enemies in this room. Amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, not really a whole lot to talk about right now. It's just kind of we'll just kind of have to wait and see. We've seen all these parts right here. We just kind of have to wait and see what the play is. I can't imagine Gynophi goes to the paw print check super early just because he's going to want to wait to have grapple there too. So we'll probably won't see Tower of the Gods for a little while on either side.
Honestly, I think you last location it.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
I think you put off Fire Mountain as long as you can, then save up out of Fire Mountain and sail from Fire Mountain.
Yeah, not a bad play.
But it could also mean that he single dips it, so. And it could also, for all we know, it could be Naru's Pearl Go mode.
Yeah, true. I mean, Taji could be completely empty, and it's the Fire Ice checks that have everything else we need. Or one of them has the grapple and their stuff in Cabana. There's a lot of possibilities still, actually.
Yeah, so it looks like Gynophi is going to opt for the storage strat here. I definitely really like the storage strat. Definitely one of them that I've picked up recently.
Oh, to just void out back to the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's fast if you get, like, before 5th try storage, probably, so.
Yeah. Well, Gynophi gets to skip going into the lower jail cell because of dungeon items. I'm not quite sure if that's as good as Kilp's getting to skip fighting Phantom Ganon entirely, but still, it's a nice little reward. And to put chat's mind at ease, it looks like Gynophi did mark Fire Ice Arrows on his tracker, so not bad. Also worth noting, Gynophi has not gotten bait bag from Cyclosh yet and is looking to head to Nidorak, so Kilp did already check the bait bag check there without Fire and Ice Arrows, so that's going to save Gynophi a double dip.
That I will put off, like, I'll start doing out of logic checks before going to Needle Rock without Fire and Ice.
It depends on the seed for me. I think that sometimes it's not bad.
I'll definitely do Diamond Step early before, because it's right on the way as well.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But especially if you're somebody that ends with sort of like the you end up with the Fire and Ice locations at the end and trying to skip ones like that or Fire Mountain, it kind of makes sense if you get bait bag super early to go and check that earlier, because it makes it more likely it has something good. And if you plan on going for last location Fire and Ice checks anyway, then having to double dip isn't really that bad, because you might not have to double dip it at all anyway. That would be obviously ideal.
So do you want to know a fun strat with that cutscene that Gynophi just saw of the fire going away? It's a really dumb strat, but it's a strat that I found a couple days ago. You can skip it if you fall in the hole after the bird hits the switch. If you just fall in the hole, it actually still triggers it, but it's really like scary because if you miss the bird, then you just fall in the hole.
Yeah, I have done that before, where I've rolled into the thing like right when you hit the bird, and it's nice. I didn't realize it would skip the cutscene. I just kind of was doing it because I'm like, if I'm rolling while the cutscene is playing, then it's...
Yeah, I thought the same thing, so I just walked out, and I was like, oh, it's hit, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, Gynophi not doing the save and quit inside there. It's the Season 3 muscle memory taking over.
It really is.
I honestly think even if you accidentally exit the cave, if you're right by the... if you're still right by, you can save and quit right after exiting the cave, and it's still probably faster than rolling all the way back to the boat this way, and rolling all...
Yeah, probably because of how fast loading is with fast loads and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe getting in the boat and just sailing him a little bit would be better, though.
It might be. Might depend if you have hookshot equipped already too, because you can get in the boat super quick.
Yeah, that's true.
That would make it even faster. Oh, Kilp not getting the not spawn from the Wizroad.
What do we get today? The keys.
Nice, fun. They have boomerang, so not too bad. Just let them friendly fire each other too. Not a bad play. Probably gonna take a lot of time, but ooh, smash.
So I'm assuming, did Kilp turn on the fan before going in here?
I am not sure.
Because it's actually really good if you know that you're just gonna full clear and you plan on doing the mini boss. Either way, like the mini boss is slow, but like if you already have so many dungeon items, you know, it's like whatever. It's actually really good to do the mini boss right before you go upstairs because then you can just always catch the cycle properly.
Mm. Nice, I liked that. We had, what was that? Nothing in either of the ice ring checks for Gynophi.
Yeah.
A bomb bag and a chart.
Bomb bag is always like kind of like just whatever. Because you never really have that many issues with bombs, unless if you struggle with bomb push storage.
Yeah.
But and you have to get it a lot. But
the quiver is
the quiver
is
nice. Yeah.
The quiver is the golden boy of the item bag equipment upgrades that you can get.
Especially in this seed because I mean Gynophi is pretty much committed to doing Tower of the Gods right into Hyrule at this point.
Yeah.
Unless if obviously grapple.
Oh yeah, true. Grapple is kind of the one thing left.
Yeah, I do think that Gynophi is just like last locationing. Oh no, he doesn't have Cyclos either.
Oh,
He's almost last locationing Naru's Pearl.
So I'm wondering what the play is here. I feel like if you've put off paw print, you want to do Cyclos before you go there, right? I mean, I almost think you'd want to do Cyclos before coming to Fire Mountain.
Yeah, I think it would be better to do Cyclos before Fire Mountain. But
because
at this
you
point,
don't know.
Do you try to save Scum Cyclos and go back to Fire Mountain?
Maybe.
Like, because you're save warping out of Fire Mountain, right? So do you just warp away, go to Cyclos at this point?
Yeah, you could do that. That's probably better than going to paw print first, because, I mean, you don't know. Cyclos could have the grappling hook, and you're one check away from avoiding that triple dip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't seen Fire Mountain could have the grappling hook for as far as we know. We haven't seen it yet. Not quite, but it is required.
It is required. That is huge for Gynophi. Because if Sir Kilp tries to rush Tower of the Gods, then he'll probably last location that sword in the overworld.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So this is kind of the thing we were talking, I said earlier, but it's going to come down to whether you commit to overworld or commit to Tower of the Gods.
This also makes a lot more sense of what we were not thinking about, is the fact that Gynophi has not done FCP sub yet, so he's just going to go over and do FCP sub from Fire Mountain.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still think I probably do Cyclos before either of these, personally, but it's definitely not a bad play, for sure.
Yeah, if you happen to get the grappling hook, then you can also save a warp by sailing from Paw Print to Northern Triangle.
Yeah.
I want to assume that that's faster than warping to Southern Ferry and sailing. Because, like, generally, while warping is fast and all, it does take, like, 20 seconds to do a warp.
Yeah, it's about, I would say it's probably more like 15. But, yeah, I think, because the timing to get to Southern Ferry is, I think it's 38 seconds. To warp to Southern Ferry and sail and trigger the Cyclos cutscene.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fast. And I know I know Tuba did the list of timings, and to sail from Windfall to Paw Print is like 25 seconds, not including the warp, just the sail time.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm pretty sure that there's a pinned doc, I think, in one of the racetracks of a bunch of timings from sailing from certain islands that Tuba did. Okay, so now I'm actually convinced that the kill all enemies check is a dungeon item. It seems pretty unlikely both runners would be like, I just don't want to do it. We are at paw print now, so... The other thing, too, that could be happening, and because I've heard this before, some people just forget about Cyclos.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the map tracker and you don't like look at the Great Sea stuff,
it's possible.
yeah. Gynophi taking a couple steps towards the climbed wall, realizing he does not have the grappling hook.
What if they
Muscle
both
memory
had?
really kicking in?
What if they both had grapple the entire? We just didn't. None of us
That would
realized
just be
it.
wild. We'd actually have to fire the trackers for that one.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Assuming this is the Tower of the Gods warp. Yep.
We're going in. I think. So we're doing Tower of the Gods before Cyclos.
Yeah, I think it's possible he just forgot about Cyclos.
Yeah. Gonna be pretty fortunate then, I think, because Kilp did check all the bait bag checks and they did not have anything.
We really just need light arrows and a sword, though.
Yeah.
I'm assuming with the new grapple skip, everybody is able to skip the grappling hook.
Yeah. So right now, we could see both those items could be in Tower of the Gods. They could be obviously either of those two, sword, bow, final bow, could be in Hyrule. I'm pretty sure we all know that. We all know about that possibility. And then there's the grapple is in Tower of the Gods, and there's something in Cabana or Paw Print grapple check. Those are kind of our three universes that we live in, or any sort of combination of the two.
Said grapple has to be in Tower of the Gods.
Yeah.
Can still be an eye roll.
Yeah. Hey, this could be the double dip. Grapple in Maze Chest and light arrows in Cabana.
Big dip.
That would be pretty interesting. Wasn't Kilp the one that had the fire ice in Hyrule with light arrows on a fire ice check already in this tournament?
Was that in the tournament?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's the Tingle statues too. We're still missing two of those.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I'm actually almost certain that was in the tournament. I think I was commentating that with Montgol.
That's rough.
Yeah. Because that was one we were all hyped because it was the shard was in the last check in Wind Temple, and we all knew. We were like, oh well, it's probably just gonna be Fire Ice and Wind Temple, and because it was the only check left.
I do remember that now that you say the thing about the Wind Temple.
Yeah, we're all like, oh yeah, there's two universes, right? There is the last shard is in Wind Temple and Fire Ice are in Hyrule, or Fire Ice is in Wind Temple, and then all our hopes and dreams are crushed. But it ended up being the more cursed universe that we were in. So yeah, we are missing only one statue. Isn't Tower of the Gods such like a riveting dungeon filled with extremely large amounts of entertaining gameplay? Look at this. This is amazing.
It really is just Tower of the cutscenes.
Oh, it's so bad, dude.
My favorite cutscene is the statue turning off cutscene.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That's a really nice cutscene.
Yeah, it has its own like cut, jump, and everything. It really needed to be there.
Yeah, I don't know why. I always kind of enjoyed. There's sort of a nostalgic feel for me for like the Darknet mini boss. So I really like the cutscene where like the door opens to that Darknet mini boss room. It's it's kind of like it's satisfying, at least for me. But yeah, there's so many to choose from, and they're all just amazing. Yeah.
See, I've opted now with where Sir Kilp is getting trolled by that Chew.
Mm-hmm.
Right when I get over there, I just kill the Chew.
Not a bad idea.
Multiple reasons. One, it loses no time because you're waiting for the cycle anyways.
Mm-hmm.
2, you can L-target and backwalk after shooting the torches.
Mm-hmm.
3, you just never get hit by it.
Yeah. There's some, like, one of the things I tell people with some strats like that, where it's like, it seems like, yeah, you're losing like a half a second or whatever on a run potentially, if you're slow or whatever. And not even that strat in particular, but with any strat. You might be losing like a half a second on each run, but you're avoiding the one time where the chew's going to cost you like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And even if that only happens in 1 out of your 10 runs, that half a second across multiple runs, you're saving time. And I think there's a lot to be said for strats like that.
There is one strat that I've recently picked up that a lot of people don't like, but it's doing the Northern Fairy Island sub faster by side hopping and then not doing like extra swings. It saves probably like 5 seconds over like doing double swings on everything.
I see. Yeah, I've
heard. But you could potentially fail ropes.
Yeah, I think it's I've seen some playing around with it, and I couldn't get it to feel as consistent for me. But I also could just be bad. That is very possible.
Well, yeah, like statistically, if you're going on like you want a lowest time in like so many X amount of seeds, it'd be worth it under that logic. But and also Sir Kilp going for fast box is nice. That's a strat that I still have not learned. Probably should though.
The strat that I prefer, honestly, is the just hope you never have to do hop across boxes strat.
That is also my favorite. I do prefer that one.
The way I see it too, the way, even if you just do like the floor one skip and you just drop down and swim over, most of the time, like, you're waiting on the cycle anyway. So I'm not sure how much time, because I know if you do that fast hop across, you can avoid waiting for the cycle. I'm not sure how much time it saves though. Personally, I've never seen the timing.
Wouldn't it just be like 15 seconds? Because it's cycle based? Or no, it'd be 30 seconds.
Well, but I mean, you're not getting there like right at the end of the cycle. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's gonna depend. I guess it's gonna depend on how fast you get up there and clip out on top of that door frame.
It's gonna save time, but at the same time, it's like the other method always takes the exact same amount of time.
Yeah, like there's even if you mess up like the statue clip like a little bit, or don't get like the backflip leaf grab thing that a lot of people do, it doesn't really even matter because you have to wait for the cycle.
Even if you get the weird thing where you don't actually like clip fully, or like you don't get the ledge grab, you just like fall right away. It doesn't lose time if you know how to do it leafless.
Honestly, too, for me, when I'm doing that, when I'm doing it this way, I like to just drop down and just swim there
Yeah.
because of that. Because since it doesn't matter if you're doing it on the cycle, it doesn't matter if you leaf or swim. And ooh, that's unfortunate for Kilp. I'm just like, I'll just do the swimming every time, no matter what. We're getting some manual super swim action, unbuffered. We've seen grapple and high roll a couple times with the season 4 settings, I think. Oh. I've never seen that before. That's hilarious.
He just clipped the statue out of bounds.
The statue is like, I'm tired of this.
I don't know if Kilp's like holding a really weird angle or something, but yeah, he's just clipping out of bounds and then he's going back in bounds. He's not. Yeah, he's back in bounds, I think, right now. No, he's not. Okay.
Yeah, that was definitely a little weird. But it was neat to watch. So at this point, it does look like Gynophi is kind of just ahead. Having the sword from Fire Mountain is definitely helpful. Depending on how early the other two items are in Tachi, assuming they're even in here. I mean, we might be looking at maybe the grapples in Master Sword Chamber and Cabana's just got everything. So, I mean, who knows? The rest of Tower of the Gods could be completely empty. Oh, never mind. There it
There's
is.
the grappling hook. The dream is dead.
Yep. No double dips in high roll today.
However, Tower of the Gods is looking awfully barren. Because going in, we just needed a sword and a bow, and we still just need a sword and a bow.
Yeah, true. True. And we're running out of checks. Oh, there's
there's
bow.
our bow.
So yeah, now we all just are kind of waiting for where's the sword? It's not there. Gynophi also going to get to skip hop across because it looks like, or skip it completely now because it looks like it was a small key. So hey.
Reasons you should not do hop across first.
Like the one situation for me that I won't skip hop across, right, is if I'm in Tower of the Gods, I have one go mode item left. Then it's like, okay. I think then it makes less sense to skip it just because you're gonna risk full clearing the whole dungeon.
Even then, yesterday I full cleared, then I went out, got Ghost Ship, then I checked Hyrule before checking hop across for my sword.
You went into Tower of the Gods only needing one go mode item?
Yes.
Dang. That's bold. I wouldn't have done that. No way. Hop across isn't that slow. Oh my god, that's funny.
But it's pain every time.
Is it really?
Yes.
I mean, if you're only missing a sword, then you can just fire arrow and leaf over to the...
I might have actually been... Fire and Ice were on Stone Tablet, actually.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
But yeah,
then I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. The only situation that I will do hop across first is if I don't have big key by then and I don't have leaf. Because then you can't do big key skip.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's kind of one of those situations where you're basically forced to do it first, like, unless you want to play a really dangerous game. Which, I suppose, I would respect that, but also, I'd think you're a man.
It's just like unnecessary, right?
Yeah, you're putting yourself in such a potentially horrible situation. Like, you're gonna lose probably like 4 minutes to have to go down, get the big key, then go all the way back up to the boss room. Alright, so I guess now we're down to Cabana. We still have a Tingle statue at large, Hyrule, and paw print for our sword. I mean, I'm assuming if you're Gynophi, you probably just check Hyrule. You probably want to save after you get the shard cutscene, right? You go in there and you check Hyrule with light arrows, and if it's not it, you soft reset and then sail to Cabana. That's probably what I would do.
That's definitely a play. Oh, it's also worth noting that we could still have a double dip to Hyrule Forest with Tingle statues.
True, yeah. I guess the dream isn't dead.
Ooh, the hands lining up for the collat, but did not have fire arrows equipped at the time.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah, so Gynophi is definitely just ahead here.
Mm-hmm.
He's also fighting ahead right now.
True. Yeah, it turns out the forgetting or not doing Cyclos and avoiding the bait was pretty solid play.
Tingle statues are an item that most people like don't actually ever get in their vanilla playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Especially more nowadays because it's actually very uncommon for people to have GBA adapters and everything to have a Tingle tuner. Because in the vanilla game you have to have you have to use Tingle bombs to get Tingle statue chests.
Yeah. Which is, I think, one of the things that makes the randomizer so cool is you can get those. And I'm almost certain there's probably a lot of people that played the randomizer that, like, just casually, that played the game as a kid. They're like, wait, what the fuck are these things?
Mm-hmm.
Although I was one of the people that had the Tingle tuner and used it as a kid. And I don't actually think I found all the Tingle statues ever, but I did find some of them.
I'm also very huge on completionist kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing Song of Passing a lot over at Forest Haven.
Oh yeah. I never got all of the figurines, but I always wanted to. I had so many, but I could never plan out ahead of time enough because there's the ones that if you don't get them at certain times, you just can't get the picture of the person anymore, right? I mean,
yeah, there's very few like that. There's the Wind Temple mini boss and Helmarock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think that there's all the stuff that you can get that's legendary stuff. Makar you can get at the end of Wind Temple always, but most people don't know about that. Same goes for Medley.
Aren't there some one or two of the pirates that only show up a certain amount of times?
Yeah, probably. But there's some that are like that.
Oh.
Ooh, and Sir Kilp getting hit by the skull there. There's some that you think that you couldn't get, but then you just
New Game Plus.
you just buy you just buy it for somewhere else.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I always forget about that. I know there's the moon picture ones that you get. Those are the super duper ones.
So yeah, Gynophi though, checking vanilla Master Sword right now. Definitely not a bad play.
Yeah, this is one of the few times. I'm definitely not a Hyrule gambler person. This is one of the few situations where I think it's not bad to check it. If you do the save scumming strat. I think not doing the... Alright, I guess he didn't save scum. Yeah, so that I would only do it if I was doing the safe scumming strat.
Where does it even put you if you save warp there? Are you in that room still?
Yeah, right by the door. And the same thing in this room too. If you save warp in this room, you're just still inside the castle right by the door.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you understand that in the vanilla game, there's cutscenes associated with that are actually like hard trigger flags.
Yeah.
You have to watch those cutscenes in order for you to be able to break the barrier.
Yeah.
Because it's not actually having the full Master Sword, it's that cutscene of the of like the lightning coming off the barrier, the like soft barrier. That's the actual flag that allows you to break down the barrier. But in order to see that, you have to have the full Master Sword, so.
Right. Well, we get to see yeah, I suppose depending on if it's paw print, grapple check, or whatnot, it could still end up being the bait bag could still end up being critical of Gynophi checks, but it feels like it's probably going to be Cabana, I would say.
Yeah, from what we know, it's just Cabana or paw print, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those three.
Yep. It's 50-50, but not really, because it's 2 checks versus 1.
But Elijah,
Hmm.
how can that not be a 50-50 when it's either here or it isn't?
Well, I suppose it depends on if you're talking about here as in this quadrant or here as in one specific chest that's in the quadrant.
Elijah,
Would be my answer.
it's always a 50-50.
Well, I'm definitely not a mathologist, so I'll have to take your word on that one. So I guess the ultimately the 50-50 comes down to either Cabana or paw print has to have either the last sword or the Tingle statue, which leads to the last sword. There's no other potential possibilities, and there's the sword.
Sir Kilp, meanwhile, failing a leaf pump and just opting to go for the bomb boost, which is really nice to get it first try.
Yeah.
I think the bomb boost there is actually probably faster if you get it first try, but I don't think anybody goes for it because it's so much. It's a lot harder because it's like harder to get the right spot fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's actually worth noting too, if you fail it once, it's really easy to get the right spot because it puts you in the right spot if you hit the barrier.
Mm-hmm. I guess the unfortunate thing for Kilp's route here now too is that after defeating Goden, the 2 items that he needs are like in opposite directions from each other, and it feels unlikely that Kilp will like go do Fire Mountain without checking paw print now that he has grapple.
I mean, the only thing that makes me want to think that you'd want to go to Fire Mountain early is that you can link it with paw print at least.
Yeah.
If paw print wasn't there, you'd almost certainly last location it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, so I feel like in this situation, if you're Kilp, you either do Cabana first and end up full clearing Cabana, which Gynophi didn't have to do, or you do paw print and Fire Mountain first, which you end up doing the paw print check, which Gynophi also didn't have to do. So it's just kind of an unlucky position to be in, I suppose. Although from, I suppose, Kilp's perspective, it's don't really see it that way. But knowing where the items are, is kind of where you get that sort of like,
Yeah, it's also a lot closer than it may seem right now, or like in terms of gameplay-wise. Just because Gynophi got to skip Cyclos, which led to other stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it was purposeful or accidental, who knows?
Right.
But it paid off.
Yeah, it was, the Cyclos, Big Pig, and then the Headstone check. Top of Headstone. Pretty sure Gynophi still did the sub, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so.
That's another quadrant that I hate double dipping, unless if Earth Temples in Logic is the Headstone quadrant.
Yeah, if Earth Temple's in Logic, I'm like, on my first trip to Outset, if I'm not going to do, like, Diamond Step with Hookshot. If I have a weapon, I'll do the Headstone sub really early. And just kind of hope that you can check the bait bag check when you go into Earth Temple.
Gynophi turning the camera to watching the Dark Knight dab on his way out.
Bye, Dark Knight. The one reason, like, for me, why I wouldn't have, like, left Cyclos before going into the dungeon, or any one single check in particular generally, is because I've, like, have a almost, like, pathological fear of getting super burned by just the one last overworld check I didn't do. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I have, like, 5 overworld checks left in a dungeon and one item, then it's kind of like, okay, you know, it's just whatever. You just gotta get lucky and pick the right one. But when it's one check, I'm like, it freaks me out.
Yeah, it really is.
And this is the one that it would have been like the reverse of that sort of like situation, because it's like that one check could have burned you way worse because it ended up leading to bait bag, which had other stuff, but it also was completely dead. So it was like the ultimate bait, especially considering it had bait bag. So it's like so many layers of bait. So many layers of bait that it's just like, ah. Oh, well, we're checking Forest Haven checks too. I forgot about these ones.
First shot on Gynophi's side.
Nice, nice.
Almost getting that shot. Sir Kilp, it's not faster to use the leaf there. After you get past, it's like slightly faster to use the leaf on the first couple ones, but after you get to like the grappling hook, there becomes a bit more distance in between each one, so it becomes not worth it.
Yeah, so I guess what we said was also not true about it was just Cabana or Pauperant, because the Forest Haven checks were possible.
Double crypt though.
Very nice. Hey, there's the Tingle statue.
Another check that's gonna lead to something dead. However, that's definitely like, well, you check Ice Ring, I guess, first, but that's definitely right after Ice Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, this is really, I mean, it's good routing. It makes sense. This is not a bad play with given the information you have of your Sir Kilp. It's just unfortunate that it's just not where the items are. Good way to phrase it. Right play, wrong result.
So the two swords that Sir Kilp is still looking for are in the second chest of Cabana. Yeah, the second chest of Cabana technically, but it's the vanilla Triforce chart, and then Fire Mountain.
Yeah, I think the 155 is pretty kind of guaranteed at this point, considering like with soup, a Ganon fight usually takes like, even with really bad luck, like a minute. So Kilp is pretty much approaching, or not Kilp, Gynophi, sorry, is approaching the end game here, the last minute or so of the run. True.
Crazy that he has 9 hearts.
Yeah, I've never seen so many hearts in a seed. In Season 4, at least. It feels like we've been playing all Sanity, where you end up with, like, literally every single heart. And the final parry. And GG's for Gynophi. $150.13. Yeah, definitely a very solid Ganon fight. You don't normally see... It's hard to see him too much better than that.
Gynophi in here now.
GG's, Gynophi.
Hello, Gynophi.
GG's.
Hello, GG.
So what'd you think of the seed?
It could have been worse than it was, probably.
So
Because I like... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I finish your thought first. I had a question that's unrelated to what you're...
So like, Cyclos, I should have done it earlier, probably. And yeah, it was just like the end game was a bit lucky, in my opinion. But like the execution was like pretty good for me, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, that's actually the question I was going to ask, was if the Cyclos was if you were just like, you like maybe forgot about Cyclos up to a point, or if you just kind of didn't, you got to a point you're like, what are the odds Cyclos is anything good, and just decided Tower of the Gods was better?
I guess both a bit, because like I ended up getting the Pearl at Poprint.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like there's not a lot of overworld checks, so I'm just gonna gamble on Tachi just having like at least one good item and maybe even grapple. And that ended up to be actually the case, so then I was like, alright, then I'll just do Cabana after, and then I'll just do the rest of overworld, you know, but then the sword ended up being a Cabana already.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I guess if you're... It ended up working out really well not going to Cyclos, because Cyclos had the bait bag. So you got to kind of avoid doing some of the big pig stuff and everything.
Oh wow, that would have been, yeah. That would have just been an extra like 5 minutes there.
Yeah. But hey, yeah, it ended up working out pretty well. And also we saw that the double crit was pretty nice.
Oh yeah, that was good. And my Ganondorf fight was pretty decent. Like it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah, very clean. Hey, we also know where Maggie's letter is now too. That's cool.
And where was the last statue?
The small isle chest at Forest
Small
Hill.
Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like gonna do that after Cabana, but
yeah, and it looks like Kilp is going to be also checking the paw print grapple chest for us, so we'll get to see pretty much every location in the game.
Not the.
by the way,
Not the maze chest though.
True.
yeah. By the way, I had two things to see that was a bit kind of bad for me. The route in Wind Temple, the first ride I did, like I save warped in Cyclone's room, and then I, for some reason, just went back to the pod and then just turned on the fan, and then I did the BK chest thingy. So that was a bit slow, in my opinion. But other than that, Wind Temple was fine, and I dipped out of Bird's Peak. I didn't go to Bomb Island directly. So I went to Bird's Peak, and then after I just warped to DRI, and then bombs ended up being on the sub in Bomb Island.
It ended up,
so that was bad.
Yeah, it ended up working out because you both kind of did the same thing there. going and checking the waterfall chest and then doing Bomb Island sub after that. So that ended up not really losing you any time, which I'm sure is kind of nice to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was pretty lucky then as well, because he could have like gotten Neighbor Spirit like way earlier if he just did Bomb Island sub before me. So yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking earlier about how me and Elijah have different preferences on if you spawn Bomb Island, whether you do the sub or not. And doing it early definitely pays off.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean,
yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
just yeah.
It's
luck,
pretty
I
much
guess.
just it's just luck. I mean, when it's a Sphere Zero check, bombs like literally easily had the same percentage of being any other Sphere Zero check. So
yeah, like probably if this seed ended up like a sword on pig, for example, this seed could have gone way different than it did now. I mean,
yep.
Yeah, and you also saved a little bit of time too at the beginning, because with the Ice Ring spawn, Kilp decided to go straight to Angular to check the peak chest, and you were able to only do Angular in one trip, whereas Kilp had to sail all the way back there again.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I used to do that first too, but then I was like, why would I if I have like a lot of overworld left, you know? Like maybe I would do it if I have like 3 checks left, and then maybe I do already have Mirror Shield, for example, and then hope it's Hookshot or Leaf. But other than that, I will not do that anymore.
Yeah, I liked the play that you I liked that play.
Yeah, thank you.
Just going to Windfall. I think that was good. That's what I would have done. And that's generally, I guess, my mentality. I think if it's what I would have done, I think it's a good play. I might be a little biased on that, though. I don't know.
Wait, that Fire Mountain is actually sick. I'm gonna learn that one. Thank you, Kilp.
And you get up really high, I guess you don't have to worry about the keys.
Yeah, like the keys are horrible in that. I used, I think my most times I died to that was like 5 times, just because they were just in horrible locations.
Yeah, there's some really weird collision that allows you to like jump there when you get up higher.
Yep. And that's go mode.
Yeah. We also saw. Were you a little bit nervous going into Wind Temple without a bow or a Master Sword?
Yeah, I was.
Because that was one thing we were talking about. Because I think Jay and I both were like, we've kind of on the point to where unless we're logically forced to, we don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah, I get that. But I was like, maybe there's a bow in here, and luckily there was. So, yeah, that turned out to be really good for mini boss and stuff. And I could skip the tall boss the tall room. That was also pretty good, because I think that was guaranteed compass.
That makes sense. We were all talking about it. We were like, wait, did he not get the compass? Because we kind of weren't doing the best at paying attention to dungeon items. And then Kilp also skipped it when he was in Wind Temple. So we were like, okay, it has to be a dungeon item then, right? They both skipped it. There's no way. They both just decided not to do that chest, like randomly. But also,
yeah, if you can skip that chest, that's like 1 minute saved. I feel like.
Speaking of Sir Kilp,
hello.
Not GG yet, but
it's Sir Kilp coming from the future to talk to us. But yeah, GG's Kilp.
GG's. So, first question: where did I lose 20 minutes?
By checking Cyclos.
Yeah, that definitely didn't
checking
help
a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
it would have been. I think that overall, Gynophi still would have won by a little bit based on execution.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of checks still. Yeah.
The Forest Haven checks, and I don't think Gynophi ended up having to dip back to Paw Print either. Did you for the grapple check?
No, I never got that.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a couple of those. Like your end game routing was just unfortunate. Getting like that the sword you needed was in the literal last location you checked.
Yeah.
And a couple other smaller things. I think the couple of missed super swims were unfortunate. That cost a little time. And the only other thing I think that stood out to me was the early angular play ended up being unfortunate to not work out, and then like hookshot and leaf ended up being super early too.
Yeah.
So Gynophi saved a double dip on you there for angular. But yeah. Other than that, though, I thought it was a really good race, all the way up through until basically you both entered Top G at the same time, but Gynophi had done the fire ice checks, and had specifically Fire Mountain, I guess, is the one that mattered because it had the sword, and then Gynophi did finished Tower of the Gods, only needed the one sword, and then basically went straight to Cabana afterwards, which that makes sense since it's one quadrant away, and that was just where the last sword was.
Yeah. Did you do Wind Temple first?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Dude, Wind Temple with Hero Sword, not my favorite.
Wait, your Wind Temple was Hero Sword?
Yeah.
Oh, bless you, dude. Yeah, my Wind Temple was my first Master Sword.
I mean, at least
I got my Master Sword.
Because
Yeah.
the mini boss becomes a whole nother beast if you do that with Hero's Sword and Hookshot.
Oh yeah, I did notice too. The mini boss definitely gave you a little bit harder of a time to kill.
Those Wizrobes would not spawn at different times, no matter how much I tried to off-sync them.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah, it was the you going to FF first and Gynophi going to Wind Temple first was super interesting because we got to see more of the seed a lot more quickly and gain information. So thank you guys for that.
You went to Wind Temple before Forsaken Fortress?
Yeah, I did. So wait, your first bow was an FF then, yeah?
Yeah, my first bow was FF. I don't know. FF just always seems like you should rush it for me, because if you got Bombs, Leaf, and Hammer, I mean...
Yeah,
I
I think that if you have like other overworld checks, then you can still check those, but then definitely like it's not bad without Master Sword, especially in this seed. Obviously, you don't have to double dip.
I mean,
yeah.
I
don't know if you watch back to VODs, Kilp, of these restreams, but if you watch back to VOD, you'll hear me say that I liked the Forbidden Forsaken Fortress. So I'll say that again to you now while we're sort of talking directly. But yeah, I thought that was a good play because just like Jay said, dipping back for Phantom Ganon isn't that bad. Plus 40% of the time, Phantom Ganon's a dungeon item anyway.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process is always if it's a Triforce sword or short sword, it's easy to get, and if it's light arrows, you just go Maze Chest, and then it's right there next to the portal anyways, so it's not that slow to just skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I will do that too, but just because Wind Temple was like in Logic fully like so early, I thought like maybe Logic is telling me to go to Wind Temple, so that's the only reason why I did Wind Temples early. Because I think I got Hookshot at Windfall and then Iron Boots at Diamond Step or something. I don't remember that well, but so it was like really early. Like they just like were telling me go to Wind Temple. It felt like for me.
I mean,
yeah.
Which checks have more requirements though, Tot G or Wind Temple? The Wind Temple ones have more requirements, right?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, Tachi is weird because the command melody is only for like half the dungeon, and while it does also require all 3 pearls, the pearls are all kind of placed together, so the way the randomizer places them, so it's a little bit weird in that regard. Yeah, I think when it came to FF and Wind Temple, they both kind of opened up at the same time. So, like, the advantage, of course, is that FF is faster and it does have fewer requirements. So it makes it more likely to have good items. But at the same time, FF versus Wind Temple, FF only has, like 3 good checks in the dungeon, and then you have the arrows mail. So, whereas Wind Temple, you have, like, twice as many potentially good checks. So there's kind of, like, that's, I suppose, sort of the positives and negatives of both. I do think in this particular seed, though, that FF play first ended up being a little bit better, just because having the bow in Wind Temple is nicer if you don't get, screwed over by Wizrobe spawns.
Yeah, I told Jay and Elijah, like, if this seed, like, required bait bag and didn't have a bow in Wind Temple, it could have gone way different than it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other thoughts anybody has or anything about the seed or something they wanted to?
Or like even I mentioned it early on in the seed, but getting a bunch of early Triforce pieces.
Mhm.
If you were still missing like a couple Triforce pieces, then you on average full clear a lot more of the overworld.
Mhm.
Yeah, true.
So it would have been closer.
Yeah, those were super early, like, except the one in Wind Temple, I suppose. But also with how fast Gynophi went into Wind Temple,
like,
it ended up
okay,
being
wow.
pretty early.
Because normally, like, the first chest I'm used to being being a key or boss key, or I don't know. Like, and then I just see like a shard, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Leaf on Grandma, though, that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Slam would have liked that.
Yeah.
I got like 3 mail checks at once. There was like leaf and then bombs and then something. It was leaf, boomerang, and something else. But it was like 3 good things right in a row.
Yeah. Oh, that was one thing we were all curious about too. For you was the not getting the bomb mail at Bomb Island. We were all kind of like, "Wait, Kilp, no, the mail. It's there.
Well,
it's waiting for you."
I mean, I was gonna clear Bomb Island anyways and immediately go to Outset, so it didn't really matter whether I got it at Outset or Bomb Island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once you went immediately to Outset, we were kind of like, okay, that makes more sense.
I will forever traumatize you guys by holding on to my mail for way too long.
Oh my goodness, I get so scared with that. I've gotten burns before. Like, it only takes me getting burned by something like that one time to never want to do it again.
Well, I know for sure I'm not gonna skip the submarine at Bomb Island anymore.
I was so close to like putting it off super long to try and get bombs first.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
I mean, if you don't, I kind of get what you were saying a little bit, Jay. Where like if you start there, and you want to do it, that makes more sense. But I think I would only go to Bomb Island from like a warp and sail there, without being able to do both checks if I was in like sort of desperation mode.
Oh yeah.
I think trying to save the double dip is definitely better in both your guys' situations. Until you got.
You wouldn't do a door cancel super swim from Windfall?
Correct. That is what I'm telling you. That is actually exactly what I'm telling you. Word for word. All right. GG's. To Kilp on stream now. The real GG's. So if future Kilp wants to leave, present Kilp can join the voice chat now and we can talk to him.
I would leave the voice chat, but I wouldn't be able to join back in.
Fair, that's fair. It would have been funny. I recognize the comedy of how that would have worked.
Much wraps up my questions about the seed.
Yeah, that was everything.
In the last 10 minutes.
I can't think of anything else to talk about with regards to it. So,
same actually.
Unless anybody in chat had any questions for the runners of anything we didn't cover, although I feel like we did a pretty good job. But hey, I could be.
Where was my hero sword, by the way? I forgot.
Cliff Plateau, the top chest, I believe.
Oh, right, yeah. I stored that. Yeah. I remember.
Oh, that is a good question. How did you guys feel about having like a gajillion hearts?
That was nice. I'm a little disappointed I missed Mulkira storage, but you know.
I don't think I've ever seen so many hearts.
That was a lot of hearts. I think I almost had 2 bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt pretty safe.
we were all saying like, if anybody dies again in this seed, that's pretty rough. I mean, that's a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Well, but hey, and as a reminder to anybody that missed us talking about it at the beginning of chat, this is not over. This is a best of 3, so Kilp is going to be able to come back with a vengeance. Maybe we'll see. I'm not sure if you guys have scheduled game 2 yet.
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So those of you that want to see how this potentially finishes up, you can tune back in tomorrow for game 2 of this matchup here, and we'll see what happens next. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much good to wrap it up now.
I have one more thing. It's pretty crazy. Like, Kilp is actually my opponent for today and tomorrow, but like on Saturday, he's my teammate for the co-op fundraise.
Oh, the ultimate betrayal.
Yes.
One of us will not be in the tournament at that point.
Oh yeah.
True.
That hit pretty deep.
That's where you throw the co-op race to upset your partner for beating you in the tournament. That's be like, I'm gonna get my revenge.
Start filling out the spreadsheet incorrectly.
True.
That's all for me, I guess.
All right. Well,
All
I
right,
think that.
ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you very much for that wonderful race. On behalf of the ZFR staff, I want to thank you for joining us, everyone in the chat. Please make sure that you visit ZeldaSpeedRuns.com for any other races, the Wind Waker, and all other Zelda. Any other comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Now, just thanks to our trackers, and thank you for the restream, and thank you to my co-commentator, Jay West, for hanging out and bearing with me for the last 2 hours. That's all from me.
Shout outs to Teal. It's his first restream. People Pat. Did a good job with all the delay and everything, confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, now let's see if we can end it gracefully.
I believe in you.